Hey, good afternoon. We're here with Craig from Reflex IT Marketing. How you doing, Craig?
I'm very well, thank you, Mike. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Thanks very much for asking. So if you could kick us off by telling us a little bit about who you are, what you do, how long you've been doing it for, please.
Sure. My name's Craig Prez. I'm MD and founder of a business called Reflex IT Marketing. I set the business back in '93, so we've been trading nearly 30 years. Prior to that, I've been in sales and a mixture of sales and marketing, really, for a couple of software companies in the IT industry. And it struck me after my second redundancy, after having a few jobs working for other people, that really I wanted to be my own boss, create my own destiny. And I've developed a passion for lead generation whilst being in sales and marketing, predominantly initially using telemarketing methods. So speaking to key decision makers in a whole host of different companies. That's really it. The focus has always been on high quality sales leads rather than just leads or appointments or engagements or meetings, setting those sorts of things up, because there's quite a big difference out there in the market as to what people can sell you. And I was adamant, coming from, I guess, mainly a sales background, that I wanted to really help people overcome some of the challenges in dealing with marketing services agencies and third parties like that. And with the discipline that I had created within my own role for generating my own leads to close deals, I really am now a stickler and big attention for detail on making sure that when we're representing our clients, we get the best quality leads for their salespeople as possible, to cut out a lot of the marketing rubbish and really enable them to get on with selling and winning better business.
Great stuff. Thank you for that. 30 years, that is a good long time in business. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, well, it's had its private tribulations, but there we are. Running your own business, there are sacrifices that do need to be made sometimes.
Sure. So the last couple of years, 2 or 3, covering the pandemic.
Yeah.
What was the biggest impact of that for you guys?
Well, because the main thrust of the business has been telemarketing, we were going from phoning up company switchboards to overnight finding that nobody was actually in the office. And everybody was working from home or on furlough. So we found pretty much overnight that the type of work that we were doing did shrink by maybe around 60%. So I did have to make some changes, not only to headcount within the business, but also really say, well, how do we overcome this challenge? And we've had to invest in some more new technology around artificial intelligence and connecting up with people through platforms such as LinkedIn, provide more of that sort of service, and as well as assisting people with their own marketing campaigns where they're using marketing automation and they're getting a whole host of inbound traffic and lists of organizations that need phoning up because they've asked for information. So yes, it's been a bit of a challenge, but we found that we're very good at the business development side of things. Once again, to handle the leads that may be coming in to our clients, and incubating those to the point where they are genuinely sales ready. We don't work to volume KPIs, we work to quality standards, and there's again a big difference there, because the better quality sales leads that you generate, it helps the salespeople convert more business, and sometimes it's better than following quantity KPIs. Yes,
definitely can sort of agree with that. As quality over quantity, a higher conversion rate down the line, ultimately, which is a good thing. So it sounds like you've sort of taken a few actions during the pandemic, and they stuck around, I take it, in terms of helping to maybe improve the business, actually?
What, in terms of my staff or my clients?
Well, I suppose both. Like if there's some actions that you've had internally, and then also, yeah, that have stuck externally to help.
Yeah, I think internally we've certainly had to hold hands a little bit more and talk offline from business to get us all through from a mental health perspective. But everybody's been doing that, I'd like to think. And then from a business perspective, yeah, we've had to evolve a little bit for our clients. As I said earlier, invest a bit more in technology that helps maybe cut out some of the stuff that we used to do manually. So speeding up the processes so that we are able to deliver more readily to our clients.
Great, thank you for sharing that. So moving on to you as a business owner, if you could pick out one learning that would say is your biggest learning you've had in those 30 years, what would that be?
You can never stop learning. So always keep an open mind, even if you think you know everything. It's worth going on the odd sales course or looking at new technology, marketing webinars, because there's loads of them on the internet. Make sure that you keep up to speed. I'd say another thing that I learnt fairly early on in the grand scheme of things is one marketing guru said to me some time ago was, as a business leader, you've really got to try and spend at least 50% of your time doing the marketing. Because you're the one who started it, you're the one with the idea. Hopefully there's passion and drive behind it as well. And the more passion that you can display in a marketing and a sales environment, that's infectious, and that rubs off onto your prospects so that they are more happy to deal with you than somebody else who doesn't really show that passion about what they're selling, what they're wanting to do in terms of services, products or solutions.
Good stuff. Yes, it's a very valid point, that I think. Sending out a positive attitude with everything that you do and representing your business.
Yeah.
Good share. Thank you. So if we were to speak to a younger person in business today, just starting out, what piece of advice could you give? I mean, it might be the same as what you've just given in terms of your biggest learning, but if there's a bit of advice that
I think yes, I mean, anybody who's relatively young, they're going to be fairly short on commercial experience. So they really need to maybe throw themselves into the center of the boxing ring a little bit there, and get that experience on board the sales and marketing side as quickly as possible. Like I said, there are a lot of organizations in marketing services industry from a B2B and B2C perspective, and I've certainly noticed over the last, the whole of my career, every time there is some economic difficulty in the UK, the marketing services industry reinvents itself. And I saw something fairly recently, a documentary on BBC, where one character said that reinventing oneself is a form of avoidance. And I just thought, absolutely, that really does ring true, particularly with marketing services. So be wary when people are wanting to sell you leads, meetings, appointments, because it could well be that they've got their own interests at heart. They've created new technology, and yes, they're wanting to give you a service and do the best they can, but also behind the scenes, they should actually be saying, you need to look at your data, your target market. You need to research it. You need to talk to people. You need to understand where to price your services or products correctly. But a lot of people don't realize, and what I've found from running hundreds of campaigns for clients over the years, is that certainly in certainly in the UK manufacturing sector, that 50% of companies operating in the UK are actually owned by overseas parents. So if you've got a business that is just UK sales territory and you've got a list of 1,000 companies that you're wanting to target, there's potentially 500 companies there that are a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
So
knowledge.
Be aware of your target market as early in the game as possible, because when you get to a point where you think, hang on a minute, sales are tapering off, what's going on, then is the time to either, well, you've got to think about sustainability for your business. You've got to think about other revenue streams to bring into the business. You either develop new products and services yourself, or you become a value-added reseller or a distributor of another business where you're selling their products and services as well as your own, adding value in some way with the knowledge and expertise that you've got.
Great, thank you for that.
Pleasure.
So you mentioned learning, reading, things like that. Is there anything that inspires you currently to do what you do? So that could involve reading or podcasts. And maybe people that you're
I mean, I enjoy the TEDx webinars out there on the internet. There are some podcasts out there from an IT perspective, stroke marketing. There's one quite good one called Bright Talk. There are others, but I tend to find that I get so involved in the day-to-day operations that I don't always have as much time and or energy to actually, work through all these sorts of things. But something I have learned that I would recommend to business owners, business leaders, is video is big. In order, if you're wanting to connect with people, emails, to a degree, some people are receptive to that, but largely they're not. And a lot more people, especially if they are future buyers, they're interested in video. They're interested in succinct, precise videos that are less than 45 seconds to a minute, something along those lines is probably the limits there when you're introducing your business. The other thing too is, if you've got some knowledge, it's worth giving something away for free, because people respect that, they appreciate that, and they actually think that you're more genuine if you're prepared to do that. And that increases the probability that one day they might get back in contact with you.
Good stuff. Thank you very much. And then lastly, if there's any latest news around your business that you'd like to share, or offers or anything, so that even just maybe directing towards your website, whatever it is you'd like to share.
I think I'd like to direct people to the website, to my blog section, because I am writing articles and blogs that cover in more detail the sort of points that we've touched upon today. So it's giving free advice, tips, maybe leading them to other articles or links that I've found useful myself, so as to avoid the traps that are out there that people, and pitfalls that people can fall into, and so that they are making sure that their time is spent more effectively in growing their business, and they get that wisdom from 30 to 40 years worth of sales and marketing experience that I've had.
Fantastic.
But the actual address, if you want that, is www.reflexitmarketing.com/blogs. I also have some articles on LinkedIn, so if you want to look me up on the profile there, there are articles on there too. Some of it's a little bit of an overlap, but also on the two sites, there's different articles there too, to cater for everybody really in B2B marketing.
Excellent, great stuff. A wealth of experience to be tapped into there.
Hopefully.
Thanks very much.
Knowledge is power and all that,
Yes, indeed. Great stuff. Thank you very much for your time, Craig. Been great talking to you. And
thank you, Mike. Likewise.
Here's to the next 30 years.
All the best. You're welcome. Bye for now.